Meeting.
Yes, thank you. Everybody stand. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for all the blessings that you have bestowed upon us. We ask you to be with us as we make good and wise decisions under your guidance for the people of our tribe. Be with the elderly, the sick, those who are less fortunate than us. Help us to realize how we are blessed to make every day a great day. We ask all these things in your name. Amen.
This time we'll do roll call.
Joe Bird,
Honey?
Don Garvin, Bill Anglin,
Here.
Jack Baker,
Here.
Julia Coates, Jody Fishinghawk, here, Meredith Fraley, here, Janelle Fulbright, here, Frankie Hargis,
Present.
Chuck Hoskin Jr., Tyler Glory Jordan, Lee Keener, Dick Lay,
Here.
Curtis Snell,
Here.
David Thornton, David Walkingstick, Kara Callan Watts.
Honey.
We do have a quorum.
Okay. This time we'll ask for the approval of the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Motion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we'll drop down to, yes ma'am.
I'd like to amend the agenda to include in new business number 3, the piece of legislation that was handed out earlier. It's a resolution authorizing the development and submission of a grant application to the Department of Labor for serving young adult ex-offenders through training and service learning grant.
I'll second that.
Okay. Have a motion and a second. Any questions? To amend the agenda, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, so the agenda is amended. Okay, back to our reports. Ms. Diane Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was sitting over there taking a sigh of relief, and I thought, oh, good, it's the right resolution. Because I told the chair that we were going to ask that you pull one of the resolutions. We're going to come before you with a innovations grant, and after further consultation, it was agreed that we probably would not go for it at this point in time. It's a $12 million demonstration innovations grant that we were going to do, so we needed to pull it. So I thought that's the one that you all were going to come forward with, but we appreciate this one. Just let you know that I sent out a packet of information to you when we had the meeting the last time. There were some things that I didn't get out, and I sent it out in packets to you. Some of it was overflow into the executive finance, so some of that will be brought up later in the month. And I just wanted to make sure that you had information about all of the job fairs that we're doing. We have flyers that we'd like for you to take. Can you put them up in your areas? Because some of these are tomorrow. They start tomorrow, and I'll give you all of these. You can take 2 or 3 of them. Put one up at your store, Meredith. We've got one starting tomorrow at Pryor. We have one at Claremore on Wednesday, and one here at the Tribal Council House on March the 15th. We also have one that we're doing with CNI on Saturday, St. Patrick's Day, March the 17th. And then we also have one that we're going to be doing next Tuesday at West Siloam Springs. We have a team that's been going out, and as Rob Doherty said, it's a well-greased machine. And he said, be sure to tell them that. And I said, okay, I'll tell them that, Rob. And they have got all their stuff together, and one of the things that we're doing, you'll notice, anything we do with Hard Rock, we have to get Hard Rock's permission. So because we're doing these in conjunction with them, we're using the Cherokee Casino Hotel, so that way we can recruit for any of our facilities and we don't actually have to get their permission. So there's a way around things sometimes. And it gives you some clip art to tell you what kind of jobs. Most of them are food service jobs, and we're working very closely with Michael Lynn in the transportation program, so that if they need rides, we can help them and assist them getting back and forth with the different shifts. There's about, I believe, 90 positions that are open at the Hard Rock. There's about 30 or 40 at West Siloam Springs, And most of them are in food service, although there are a few other jobs that are going to be mentioned. And then, of course, Cherokee Nation Industries is recruiting for some machinists. And Brad's bringing the flyers over for that, so that way you'll have that. So that if you know of anybody, tell them to come out, because we will have recruiters there doing on-site interviews so that they can actually get them through the pipeline and get them on board a lot quicker through this process than they normally would if they came in and made application. So we'd encourage you to do that, because we want to make sure that we get as many Cherokees hired in these jobs as we possibly can. Let's see, last month you asked for a summary on proposed unmet needs, and I believe that might have been you, Councilwoman Watts. I'm not really sure. I usually write down who that was that was asked for it. But Daryl Legg, our vocational manager, Daryl, where are you at? Daryl put together a packet of information. He also put some spotlights in the packet of information to show you some of the people that we've assisted in our training programs. And here's his narrative in the folder. And feel free to look at this. And if you want to ask us questions next month, we'll be glad to take the questions. This will give you some information that you can look at. We also handed out another form that Kim Carroll put together, which actually talks about our caseload, and it talks about our discretionary formula, and it tells you that when we get grant monies internally, there is no staffing that's usually with that, so it's in excess of our regular caseload. And I think there were some questions asked about us picking up some of the staff last month. We don't get any additional money other than usually for counselors or people that are actually providing the services. So that's one of the reasons why we use our program service monies for a lot of our clerical support in our field offices.
Okay.
So with that, do you all have any questions?
We have one from Counselor David. Dave?
I was reading your report, Diane, the career services, vocational programs, unmet needs.
Yes.
Maybe we talked about this last month about having a lack of funding for our scholarships in that area. And I was just looking at the surgical tech students. There's 5 surgical tech students that attended classes at Hastings that cost $73,000. And what are we paying? We're paying $16,000, aren't we, for higher education, for scholarships overall? If it was $4,000 a year, we're about $16,000. And I haven't did the math on this, but what is that? What's 5 divided by 73?
15.
About 15. Okay. So it's about pretty much the same dollar amount, isn't it? Okay. How much money are you guys recommending or proposing that we put into this fund?
We would actually come in with a proposal whenever you all start your budget hearings. We're not asking for anything right now. We're just giving you the information so that whenever your budget hearings actually start, that you'll have an idea of where we're coming from, and we will submit a budget.
Okay, you will?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yes, that's it. Clayton.
Counselor Watts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the packet that you mailed to us. And I was reading them. I saw on the last page about the drug testing for the day work training program. It was interesting information, but I wasn't quite sure like what you do with it then, is what happens to them if they test positive. Do you help them work through those issues?
Yes, we do. We work with the behavioral health department, Dr. Boyd and his staff in all of the different clinics, the hospitals, and we make referrals there. And we ask that they participate to assist in their whatever they test out on. And if they're willing to do that, then we will continue to work with them in some sort of a job. But if they choose not to, then they are taken off the program, because we can't continue to keep them on the program if they're going to test positive, because we can't put them out in these job sites.
And I appreciate that approach, because I think that's more than fair. But I think we have come to the agreement when day work was started that that's more than likely potentially part of the population that we're targeting to try to help work through different issues that may be affecting them to get to the workforce. So that's exciting, even if it's just one. So thank you. I had some additional questions. So on your, this was just on my desk. I remember seeing this in the book, but on the overhead, the staffing or administrative cost, if I recall correctly, we haven't necessarily expended, like, for example, all the tarot fees that we've collected. So do we need to, as a body, authorize you to have, like, some kind of, I guess, are you saying that 17.35% is the overhead needed?
No, that's just to tell you how much we've actually spent in training with that. One of the things
So
that
do
we
you have, Diane, do you have like estimates on what we need to do? Because I want to straighten this out. I mean, we ask everyone else to give overhead. We want to continue these programs, I assume. So do you have a plan to send to us on what that needs to be and how we should
when we
authorize
submit
that?
when we submit our budget to you coming forward in the end of March, May, whenever, I don't know exactly when the hearings are going to start, but we will have a plan. One of the things that we wanted to do, and I believe it was brought up at last month's meeting, about apprenticeship programs because of the housing and what we're going to be doing there with what we're doing with construction. We were looking at utilizing some of those tarot fees to develop some training programs for apprenticeship programs so that they can work off of license, plumbers, electricians, and that's what we're going to be doing with those fees. And then we're also right now using it for any kind of emergency training where Daryl doesn't have any money. He may go to John and say, I've got somebody here that needs to take a test. If they can take this test, then they can get certified or they can get their license for this or whatever, which will make them employable. And John and Daryl work together on that, and sometimes it's paid for out of tarot.
And that is great, and I remember that conversation, but just to make sure, because I'm concerned about what you're bringing forward in this one on the caseload and the fact that on the tribal programs, I guess, we don't do a set aside of administrative and overhead costs. We're only providing you with the direct services costs, which would be actually seen by the constituent. So you're saying we don't necessarily need to address that in this budget, but you would be addressing that in how you present your budget going forward in fiscal
Right.
year 13?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And that was just an add-on to the packet of information that Daryl presented in the red folder. That was what Kim put together for you.
Okay, and I know I just got this one, and thank you for answering that last month, and I'll review it, and I'll email you if I have any questions or concerns or something, or just pick up the phone. But I think in your other deal, even though it kind of, this committee, that the internal tarot structure, org chart, process flow, and policies and such, you're going to bring that forward at the next subcommittee for E&F tarot?
Yes, there's supposed to be a notebook that's going to be brought over today that has the law, our policies, and it also has everything that we're operating under, and it's got the flow chart, org chart, the whole 9 yards, and it will be all in that notebook inclusive. We did an orientation at Catoosa probably about 3 months ago. There was like 3 or 4 council members that were there, and we did give them one of those notebooks, but we didn't have the policies and we didn't have the flow chart in there. So we have all of that going forward, and those will be given out in the subcommittee meeting that you guys have scheduled for the end of this month. But we're going to give them to you today, so that way you have them, you can look at them, and so that way you've got any questions, we'll be here to answer them.
So just to give you a heads up, so if you haven't already, the Administrative Procedures Act, I am looking at presenting to the council as a body to consider including the tarot committee. I didn't even know how to name it because I didn't have the formal documents.
Okay.
I've been waiting on that. To include the tarot, because there's so many questions from tarot vendors about the actual implementation of our law. So to us, I think when we leave this body, it seems clear about how tarot businesses should be treated in contracting and everything. But then I think there's a lot of opportunity for movement to the left or right of what we think is the center of that law. And the only way to really rectify that after I've reviewed the Administrative Procedures Act is to make sure that it's always in the light of day and documented for our employees. And it's been painful, actually, because I have to go dig and ask questions and wait for somebody to respond when we could just have it online for everybody and then allow for public comment, which I think is what the APA does. So just heads up, that's coming down. I don't know what the body will do to vote on it or not, but it's something I think needs to be considered.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Keenan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My comments are in a similar vein, Diane, and I want to thank you, first of all, for you and your team coming now and meeting with us and not asking for money. But I don't mean, I want you to ask for money. You're working way ahead of the ball game, so that's good.
Thank you.
You're doing good preparation, and that's what I wanted to address with you today. So as you are developing what you will be needing, just as an example on youth leadership, if you can give us a crazy number of what that would be, and what your intentions would be on that. Let's say you want 20 Cherokee youth, and you want them to do X amount of things, go to Unity, say, and us provide the funds to do that. I would like to see that kind of broken out.
Okay.
And then we can go from there. And that's just one example. And if any other thing you can think of like that, I know we have 14 and 15-year-olds, which are new this year, and that'll be an additional cost as well, I'm sure.
Well, we want to thank you for coming to the Youth Employment Job Fair. This was the first time we had ever scheduled these. And the reason that we did it was because we were talking with Charles Head one day, and he said something about kicking it off. He said this would help give you some sort of a gauge to determine where your age groups were. I said it's a good idea, so we went back and we decided that we would try to do 3 just to get an idea. Well, we know that we're going to have a lot of 14 and 15-year-olds, and with that said, that tells us that we're going to have to do a different job of planning this summer's activities, because these 14 and 15-year-olds cannot be placed in jobs. We're actually going to have to work with them in our literacy centers. And I'm looking at Frankie because Frankie's been there and done that. But we're going to have to plan activities for them all summer long. But it has to be job related. It has to be career related. So we're going to end up having to bring speakers in, take them on field trips. And who knows, we may ask you to come in and talk to them up in your area. But we're going to have to get some more instructors out there to work with them, because we know we're going to have an over influx of 14 and 15-year-olds. And I will probably be, like we're going to do something with Tarot and with this unmet need with vocational. We'll probably do the same thing with summer youth. But one of the things that we're looking at for next year is coming up with a way where we could have some of these students on the program year-round, especially these people that are seniors or in college. And when the carryover money comes down, we'll probably be asking for a little bit of that, depending on how many applications come through the pipeline, because we anticipate probably having more applications than what we'll have resources for.
And that's kind of where I was going with that, is I don't want to turn away any youth who comes to the Cherokee Nation. I want the youth to feel free to come and feel like they're going to we're going to be able to offer them something. So any work you can do ahead of time with what you're doing now is very much appreciated, and where this body can know how to respond in a better way, more educated for us too.
Well, with changes, we had to look at our teams, and we've got teams working on job fairs to get adults employed. We've got the day work group, and then we've got people working on the summer youth. So we've got different people working in different venues. So if you see Rob Doherty, he's not working summer youth. He's working these jobs. Or if you see Jeff Vance, he's working summer youth.
Thank you, Diane. Mr. Chair.
Councilor Lay?
Thank you. Yeah, Diane, first of all, thanks for all the job fairs. They're really,
And that was your idea, wasn't it?
no, you're right.
It was, you brought it up.
I noticed we had a couple of almost overlapping job fairs, and I saw some from over at the business side, then in the health department side. Are things working better for you now?
Things are working real well. In fact, Cherokee Nation Businesses and I collaborate. We're collaborating every week. We're going to be working with our construction group, housing group. We've met with them a couple of times. We're going to be doing some construction stuff with them. We're working with our businesses at Flint Co. and Ross Manhattan. So, you know, I've got different staff working, like I said, in different venues. Could we do a better job? Yes. Anytime we do something, we can always do a better job. And that's one of the things that we strive for. But we need your input, your help, and assistance. So if you know of areas where we're not getting out there, or if you know of schools that my staff have not hit, just give us a call and we'll make sure that they go out. or maybe they've already been out there, maybe they were out at the state playoffs, because that was going on last week, because we missed some of our appointments because of that. You never know with senior, junior proms, whether or not the school's going to be open to people coming in from the outside. So let us know. Anything you can do to help us, we'd greatly appreciate it.
The area of payroll certification, kind of clear that up for me. We do payroll certifications for people within the district, and I think we visit their job site, or we visit them and make sure that they can do what they say they can do.
Yes, in fact, we can certify someone in California or New York City. What we do is we find out where the location is, and we make contact with somebody there. We even ask for pictures, and we follow up with people in their neighboring area to find out about the location. And we do it that way by telephone. Sometimes we can't fly out there and see if the business is actually there, but where we can, we actually do go out and do a on-site visit.
That's kind of what I wondered. We're making our, I guess you would say, our people go through a manual inspection, and not the other folks, and folks that will probably never do business with us. What do we do?
I would say about half the people that come through for Terrell certification are not necessarily interested in doing work for the Cherokee Nation. A lot of them are interested in getting that Indian certification so that they can go in and apply for 8A certifications on federal grants. We have a lot of people that contact us about that because they said it's easier to come through us and get certification than it is for them to fill out paperwork for other entities. One of the things that we're doing that you may not be aware
Do we
of.
charge them for that?
Do we charge them? No.
Why not?
On the recertification?
On their certifications?
Oh, yeah, we do.
Okay.
When they come in and get certified, yes, they do. We charge them, and we also charge them for the recerts. But if somebody calls us for technical questions, no, we don't charge them. One of the things that you may not be aware of is that if Don Garvin comes in and he wants to be recertified for next year, I'll use this as an example, Mr. Garvin, if it's okay. And what we're doing that we weren't doing, and the reason we're doing it is because of some of the questions that you all have asked. We went back and looked at what our process was. We are making sure that if he said that he had Janelle for a partner in his business, we're making sure that he still has Janelle and not Julia Coates for a partner. Because one of the things we're finding out is that when they came in and got certified 5 years ago, they switched partners and they have a new partner, but they didn't actually tell us that. So if they tell us everything's the same, we're checking that out now. And in some cases, we're finding out that they're not telling us the truth and they've changed partnerships. And in some cases, maybe the certification they got 5 or 6 years ago was not a legitimate certification. And so when the Indian partner has come in for that recertification, we found out in some cases that they are really not Terrell eligible. So they're not getting certified as a result of that. Or that we've gone over to the registration office and found out that Mr. Garvin had his membership relinquished, and he didn't bother to tell us that. He basically is a member of another tribe, and so he doesn't get that Cherokee preference now that he did 5 years ago when he got certified. So I just want you to know that we are going a little bit further in doing our due diligence.
Good. Okay. Counselor Thornton?
Yes, I want to tell everyone, these job fairs, I went to one about a year and a half ago. And I want to let you know, if you ever get a chance to go to Silent Springs, go, because that's the best food in the country.
It is.
And I've heard so much about it. When I went up there, it was awful good food. But I've got something I want you to look into. I don't know whether to talk to you, Dr. Martin, CMB, or who to talk to. But on this electric power plant, the WD Mayo, locking down. That's, as an example, they're going to have 15, probably 10 or 15 excellent paying jobs down there that needs a certain type of expertise. And right now, I don't know if they'll have that done in 215 or 216 or even started by then. But they're going to need engineers, they're going to need a plant manager, they're going to need mechanics to go over them generators and take care of business down there. And why can't we have Cherokees down there instead of having to hire somebody that, for an example, are not Cherokee? And I don't know how many engineers we have that would be professional on running one of those plants. And I don't think we have any. And why can't we start schooling those people now?
We can.
And we can put them in that position when it rolls around. Because the Corps of Engineers don't want to run that plant. That's the way I feel about it. And we're actually going to let out the jobs, and I hope it should be Terrell jobs. You know, I think CNB will get that contract out, and I think it'll be Terrell jobs. And I hope there's some kind of a vendor somewhere, or contractor, that can build that plant. That's Cherokee. But just like Tina said a while ago, you know, whether it is or not, when we let those contracts through CNB or who it's let through, we need to make sure that it's in there that they hire Terrell vendors, because there's a lot of money going to be thrown around down there in that country. And there's no reason that our Cherokees can't be picking up on it. I know we've got one of the best concrete people right there at Muldrow that you can get. And they've went all over the country. They couldn't work for Cherokee Nation, but they could go down in Texas and build casinos for those Cherokees, for those Native American tribes down there. And they could go over here and build a casino for some of the tribes here. But they had never been able to get a job here.
Those are good points, Councilman Thornton.
My point is,
We'll do what we can.
is schooling someone now, a young person, that can take over these jobs. And I think you could probably work with C and B, because they have the experts over. Marguerite knows what's going on, and they know what positions they'll need there. So I think we could be far ahead and put our Cherokees in there to work and be real good paying jobs for that area. Thank you.
If I could, Mr. Chair, one of the things that we have that is coming up, the last 2 years, this will be our second year, we are having a major job fair just internally for all of our different programs that we have that are open at Siloam and at Catoosa. And it's a bigger job fair than just these isolated positions like food service. And what we could do is work with the entity that's going to be doing that power plant and already get some pictures out there of what's going to happen in this time frame. And if there's people that they know that are interested in those types of jobs, or people that are out there getting the training right now, to keep us in mind, and we could actually put them in our job bank right now, so that when those positions actually came open, then we could make contact with them.
Miss Wyatt would be also a good one to speak to over there in CNB or whatever program that runs in.
Okay.
Is that good, Counselor?
Mm-hmm.
Did you talk to General Cantor? Talk to General. Okay, he's from South Virginia. When they come back, he's in Apple Park.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a contractor. He wants to work for the contractor.
Okay.
He can build it.
Okay.
He said.
Counselor Jordan?
I know the law has changed, Diane, on the 14 and 15-year-olds working. What environment can they work in during the summer? I know they can't do the manual labor like they used to be able to do, or work out with the lawn mowing and things of that sort. Can they still do office work?
That they can if the job site is willing to take them. But a lot of the job sites for office work, they want somebody that's proficient in computers, or they want somebody that's a little more seasoned, and it's difficult to place these 14 and 15 year olds. Sometimes with the, I guess the proprietary information, there is a problem with that in whether or not they would give out information, and you can't hold them accountable because of their age.
Are we still limiting placement to within the Cherokee Nation organization?
No, on the summer youth program, we can place them with any nonprofit.
Okay. So that could be a government entity too?
Yes, yes. Now, if you've got heaven forbid, but you're gonna have some 15-year-olds that may be married, or some of them that have children. They're considered adults at that point in time, even though they're not officially old enough. But because of that particular situation, then those can be placed out there if we can get a job site that would let them work. There's also kids that we get that have the bands on their ankles that we have to monitor at the job site, and those are the ones that usually end up at our literacy centers for the duration.
Well, how do, say you have some government sites, the courthouse, that are willing to take the young people, make them runners between the offices, filing, light computer work,
We're willing to work with supervisors and the students in that
how do
regard.
they get is there who is
Jeff
over-
Vance is over the Summer Youth Employment Program, and Jeff is real easy to work with, as long as the job site is willing to take those youth and work with them, and we have to have a job description of what they're going to be doing. They also have to be monitored regularly. During the summer months, we have to have students monitored. If they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing, I'll give you an example. We had a student that was out in the sun painting campaign signs for a DA at one of the sites, and somebody drove by and seen this kid out there in 102 temperature out here spray painting these signs, and they called us and we had to go out there. When you looked at his job description, he was supposed to be doing maintenance work and answering telephones. So these are things that we have to check out, and if they're doing things other than what's in the written job description, we have to either move them or pull them.
The school settings too, they would need to call Jeff Vance if they have some summer job openings. But it is limited now where the younger ones can work at, isn't it?
It is very limited because they don't want the insurance responsibility, and they also have to look to see whether or not their insurance will cover it. We've had some accidents that have happened over the years. Knock on wood, we haven't had any fortunate things happen, but the state has, and we've had students there in those job sites where some of those students were injured very bad.
How many openings, how many slots are you gonna have this summer, do you know?
I sent you the packet of information that kind of gave you a blueprint of what our numbers were going to be. Bear in mind, that's just a blueprint. We don't know that will actually happen. It'll depend on how many applications come through the pipeline in each of those areas.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Good. Counselor Parks?
Well, Tanya asked most of my questions, but one of the other ones, are we having any problems finding job sites?
I believe the packet had information in there about the job sites where the summer youth kids were going to be placed. That should have been in the packet. Wasn't.
And if there's additional places that's wanting to.
They just need to make contact with the counselor in that field office. If it's Adair County, it would be Faye Vaughn. If it's Salisaw, it would be Barbara Worley.
So you can still add job sites, is
Yes,
what I'm asking.
yes, we can.
You good? Thank you. Counselor Walkinston?
On the vocational scholarships, you guys say you guys don't give funding to people like going to trucking school. We don't, or we do?
We do.
Okay, I thought I was reading here it said that you guys didn't.
Where that's speaking of is the $250,000 that we were awarded last year for the vocational work preparation money. We were not allowed to do trucking on that. That was strictly for the career letters that were identified, the medical, maintenance, tourism, food and beverage, and childcare. So that didn't help me at all with the people that were wanting to go get their degree in as an electrician or a welder or a truck driver.
What funds go to being a welder or a bricklayer or whatever?
I have some funds called Career Tech. I got $225,000 there. Some funding.
Have we already done away with those funds?
Yes,
We're
sir.
obligated.
Yes, sir.
What's the cost on a kid wanting to be an electrician?
It depends on where you go. If you take a basic
What's the
electrician,
average, the basic cost?
I would say it's probably a 2-year deal, and it's, if they get Pell, it depends on their situation, honestly. If they get Pell and they cover their own tuition, then what I would do out of my funding would be their gas stipend. I wouldn't give an hourly stipend because they're not going 40 hours a week. I do give a $7.25 an hour stipend for those who have to quit work in order to go to school.
And what about the scholarship for the vocational training itself?
It depends on how much tuition is for the electrical. There's high voltage, there's different kinds of electrical courses that you
Is it
can take.
30,000, 15,000?
I don't think it'd be 30,000.
Just give me a ballpark.
I would say 3,000 a semester for 1, 2, 3, 6 semesters, 18,000.
Okay,
And that's a guesstimate right there.
okay, thank you. That's all,
Good?
yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Next, be Executive Director's Report, Dr. Neil Morton.
Thank you, Chairman Byrd, and good afternoon, council members. You have my report, and if you have questions, I'd be happy to try to answer.
Submitted some good reports, Dr. Morton. We don't have any questions.
I do have one announcement. Following me, of course, is Verna Thompson. Verna will not be here this afternoon. She called me just before I came over. She had some dental work. She's up at the office, but she doesn't think she can talk straight.
Okay. Councilor Fulbright?
Yeah, excuse me. I had a question. If a student wanting to go to college lives in Van Buren, Arkansas, and has all their life, can they apply for this $2,000 scholarship, or only if they're Pell eligible? Or
No, because we have that buffer zone
and they are
around
included
there.
in that?
Yeah.
So they do not have to be Pell eligible? That's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
And by the way, we will have funded all applications for spring. They're all funded.
What's that?
All applications for spring funding for scholarships have been made.
Councilor Walker-Stick?
Have we had the March meeting yet on the carryover? Or was there any carryover?
There will be some carryover. See, we have to fund next fall out of this same funding.
Yeah, when is that meeting, or has it already happened?
Well, we'll be coming to you in budget time saying, hey, we anticipate more students next fall and probably need more money.
Okay. So we have no money left over from the fall?
In other words,
semester?
we still have money in the budget, but it's for fall. See, we award the fall grantees before our fiscal year starts
Okay,
in
how many
October
kids
1.
came back in the spring semester versus the fall semester?
I don't have the exact numbers
It
on
was
that.
30 in the fall, right? And then
Yeah.
what's the spring? Do we know yet? 2850. Okay, so we should have some funding left over, from the 30 to 2850.
Yeah, from that funding, yes.
Okay. So we got the concurrent enrollment stuff. Hoping we can get launched over the summer and then maybe start the fall, hopefully.
We'll be making a total budget analysis counting the money that comes back to us. See, some of the money that we sent out may come back to us. In other words, they may have decided, hey, I decided not to go to school, I got a chance to go to work.
Okay.
So we'll be putting the money in the right columns and having it ready before anything is done on the budget in March.
In March?
I mean in April, or
In April?
May, or whenever, yeah.
Okay, so.
We'll have a budget analysis for you
In
on
April?
current holdings in April.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Chair.
Good. Back to the doctor.
On the approximately 180 that didn't return between the fall and spring semester, is there any way, Dr. Morton, that we'll ever be able to find out what may have caused them not to return?
We're going to try something new this year. We're going to try emailing them, and also mailing their home address, and with a self-addressed postage-paid envelope. We're going to try both of those and see what happens.
Whether it was a family crisis or
We're probably,
rage or military or what.
we'd hope for a 30 to 40% return, and then that gives us a trend.
I'd be interested in seeing what your responses are. Although that seems to be fairly low for what has been happening over
Yes.
prior years.
And that also includes graduate students who may have been just taking classes for recertification or certification in another area.
'Cause didn't we used to have a much higher dropout rate?
Yes.
So we're seeing more children or young people
Used to run
stay in
35 to
school.
40%.
And that's, what is that, about 5%?
Yeah. We're really making a dent on the dropout situation. And as I related to you last month, the 45 that we had in the special program at NSU, we actually didn't lose any of them. We thought we were losing one student out of 45, but she decided to enroll at Connor State in the nursing program. Of course, Northeastern has a bachelor's degree in nursing, but not the RN degree. So we actually have all 45 of them.
We're doing better on retention, and I wonder if that is because we're adding a more personal touch to some
I think
of our.
that's a lot of it. There's
And
been a
awarding that-
great deal of improvement in the College Resources Center. Plus, we're doing so much more outreach with public schools. And
They're starting earlier.
working with public school counselors. And something that I really had misgivings about is really working, and that is the online application. I'd forgotten that every kid has 2 or 3 of those things, you know, that they can get online and enroll. So the only paper applications that we have in at all are from graduate students.
And if their application comes to us incomplete online, are we calling them or
Yes.
emailing them back saying you need to do this, this, and
Right.
this for the deadline? I think that's real helpful.
Right.
I'm even hearing from our, and this is kind of unrelated to you, but it's a good example. Our people go and apply for C&E jobs, and they apply for them online. And for some reason, their application is incomplete.
Mhm.
And we're not following up with some sort of generated letter that says, hey, you've got to come back and finish this, or it won't be considered.
And what the online is doing for us too is that we had so many of those, I mailed it. You know I mailed it, but we wouldn't have it. It'd get lost in the process some way. And this way, they know immediately if they have the wrong address or something. So it's working quite well.
Thank you.
Good. Dr. Raymond?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Morton, when is the deadline for the fall semester?
Is it still the 18th?
Around the 10th,
I'm sorry.
June, around the 10th.
Around 10th of June.
So they still have some time.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's all, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Watkins?
I'll say, I think one reason we've decreased on that is the one-on-one connection with your outreach coordinators going and helping fill out the FAFSA. You guys came to Muskogee Public School and helped all our students there, and that was a huge help.
And another thing right along with that, Councilor Watkins, is that when a student comes in, the student is assigned an advisor in the College Resource Center, and they keep that advisor as long as they're in school.
Really, that's great.
Instead of having to check with this one and check
Yeah.
with this one.
They don't know their situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they get to run around a lot.
Mhm. Plus, we're sending people to college campuses now. Like we sent one of the resource persons to OSU last week, to set up a booth in the University Center and meet with scholarship students.
Yeah.
We do the
Another
same.
thing I was gonna talk about is, Joe,
Yes, sir.
the Trail of Tears awards we used to give out. I remember you said that the purpose of it was to identify the talents, because not every student is all A, all B student, but to identify the unique talents of Cherokee citizens. And I heard now our Trail of Tears Awards is specifically for seniors only, and it just addresses a superintendent's honor roll. And so, we need to find some way of getting that system back into JOM or education department. And is that an administrative thing that you guys would have that fall under your umbrella? Or
No, it's actually under the leadership
They're in
division
leadership
now.
right now,
Under, Mr. Skinner, who follows me, will be
That's next.
discussing that.
Oh, that's next?
Yes.
Okay. So would we make that recommendation for next year to him? Or
Sure.
do we need to try to transfer it under a different department?
We'll ask him when he steps up.
Okay.
We'll see what his recommendation is.
That's all.
Okay.
Very good.
Is that it, Counselor? Dr. Morton, good report.
Thank you very much.
Since Head Start is not here, we'll do leadership. Mr. Mark Skinner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, council committee members. You will have a copy of the report for leadership services, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Counselor Fulbright.
Yes, this sort of is a fall back to 2 or 3 months ago. Todd Enlow gave us a printout sheet on like $700,000 or $850,000 grant. And it was telling how it was going to be spent. And $150,000 of it was to purchase the Salisaw Indian store to promote cultural tourism in that area for people to have a place where they could sell their authentic Indian wares. It also had included retrofitting all of our original community buildings to make them green. And it had some other things on there besides that. Well, I have inquired to several different departments and different people asking, what happened? Did we buy the Indian store or did we not? And I cannot find an answer. I want to know. Could you check on that for me? Diane, you know?
Yeah, the Indian store was supposed to be part of a grant we were gonna be applying for through ICDBG, and we found out that we already had 2 in the pipeline, and that we weren't gonna be eligible to go forward this year with that, so therefore we didn't move on it. But it was being looked at, we were gonna work on it, and then the funding agency said you can only have 2 at any given time.
Okay, thank you for the answer.
Okay, any more questions? Counselor.
Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mark. On the youth council, are they in need of resources as well right now? You know?
Well, I think if you ask most programs, they would indicate that they probably were. So I would say historically, the monies that we've gotten specifically for the Tribal Youth Council probably have limited us as far as being able to do things in terms of resources. So I appreciate the kind comments about youth development. I think going forward, as we look at budgets for next year, there may be some things that we'd like to do going forward that we weren't able to do based on budget limitations.
Okay.
Things like, I heard you mention Unity, and Unity is typically something we send members of the Tribal Youth Council on if the funding is in the budget, so it'll be something that we'll look at. But the actual Tribal Youth Council and the sponsor for the Tribal Youth Council is looking at what the budget expectations and needs will be for next year, so we hope to have that information soon as far as requests. So I'm glad if there's some preliminary support for what we're doing with our youth. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Counselor Walden-Stick.
Well, first is, Todd also prepared a report for the employment of Cherokees. That was really beneficial to us on kind of tracking where we're at on what percentage. Do you have access to that?
The report that I have that's in the report is specific to our tribal government. I'm not familiar if Todd presented something in addition to just the tribal government or not. Did he share something else with you in addition to that?
Yeah, it was just like a monthly report. It'd say we hired, 60% of Cherokees, then we hired 40% of, or 15% of non-Cherokees, and then the other percent was non-Native American.
Okay, and are you thinking it was beyond the tribal government that report, the information included?
It was just within, I think it was included the CNE, CNB. I'm not sure. Do you guys know what that report was the like CNB, CNE, and the whole entity, or was it just just the government side?
It was the government side.
Okay.
And that information, I think it's on page 2 of the report. So we have that in our report.
The next thing is talking about the Trail of Tears Award.
Okay.
I'd like to make a recommendation that next year that we do recognize those Cherokees with those unique talents, whether it be art or pottery or storytelling or whatever it may be, instead of just being a honor roll type of event. And you probably get some recommendations on Councilman Byrd, because I think you guys actually formed that Trail of Tears, didn't you?
Yes, we did. Dr. Martin's wife and myself did, yeah.
And it was a really good program. I was a product of it as well. And, so whoever's over that, I'd like to make that recommendation. For that.
Okay, and I believe it was last month, we submitted the criteria for this year for the Trail of Tears Awards, and there are a number of different award categories. I don't know if these specific things were included, but it may be that we already do some of that, so I'll have to go back and double check, but I'll pass that information
And
along.
seniors only, is that right?
For this year, yes, seniors only.
And it was we need to get some for the 8th graders as well. The kids are upcoming, because we're rewarding kids, and the purpose of that is it kind of gives them that incentive or being rewarded throughout school, and those kids will experience academic achievement through being awarded this, their Trail of Tears. So we need to get at an earlier age, maybe 8th grade, and then start there and going up.
Okay.
So, that's all. Thank you.
Good. Councilor Watts?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In next year's budget, I know that, I don't know what the chief will want to do, but I will be asking and would appreciate you to go ahead and do the work for what it would be for every youth council member to attend Unity, what that would look like, so we can consider it in the budget. And there needs to be a decision. I thought it was very fruitful. 4 of them went to NCAI and got to actually do work with us as tribal leaders and go attend the meetings and help. And I thought that was very beneficial. So I don't know how that could work. I think they also attended some other things beyond Unity, but at least Unity, and possibly if they can attend those other meetings as well that might have some significance for them and develop them as future leaders. If we could have those estimates, then I think that would be, for next fiscal year's budget, I would appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, where's next year's Unity Conference, if I may ask? Council?
I believe it's in Phoenix. I believe it's in Phoenix.
Councilor Coe?
Thank you. I got notification in February of the Youth Council's meeting and wasn't able to attend on that weekend. And I see here that the meeting was this past weekend for this month on March 10th. And I don't recall getting notification about it this month. My question is this the regular meeting date? Is it on the second Saturday of each month? Would that be something I could count on, and whether I get notification or not, that
I'd have to look
If
and.
that's the date, because I know that's what it's been for the last 2 months, it looks
Okay.
like, so.
It is a monthly meeting. I'd have to
Right.
double check and see if it's specifically the second Saturday of
Okay.
each month. That's probably correct.
Okay.
I believe, when I reported last month to the council, I announced that date here. I could be mistaken, but I
You
think
may
I did
have,
announce the
maybe,
date
yeah.
that they were meeting on the 10th, so.
Okay,
We get email notices.
yeah, because I got an email notice in February, that would be good.
Okay, so that's helpful.
But if you can just let us know if it is the second Saturday of each month, I'll.
And one note about the Tribal Youth Council is, of course, there is interest in that. They are presenting to the body on the 29th of this month on the Rules Committee, so they will be a number of representatives presenting their new bylaws to you, so.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Councilman Baker? Thank you. The removal bike ride, you selected the participants last week?
Yes.
Okay, so there's what, 10?
10 people were selected. There were 39 applicants this time, so we're excited about that.
Do you have the dates when you will be doing the actual bike ride?
The dates are set. They have been presented. I don't know if they're in this month's report, but it will be in June.
But do you know the date in June?
I don't have it memorized, but I can get that and
Okay.
pass it out.
I
I think it was
appreciate
in
that.
last month's report. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
How many council members are participating? That's so funny. Okay. Counselor Fish and Hawk.
Yeah, when you get the dates on the youth council, would you just send them to Gail and she can put them on our calendar?
Okay.
And the other
Happy
thing
to do
is,
that.
last time during budget hearings, we had talked and we had put funds in there because there was a big debate on how much we was gonna put in there for them to attend NCI. And in the conversation, I know myself and Tyler and Jordan remember us talking about joint council too, putting funds in there for that. So would you check your budget?
Specifically for the Tribal Youth Council? Is that what you said?
Tri-council now. Yes, tri-council. Yes, because I'm the one that made the motion for the NCI and for the council. So would you please make sure, since tri-council is coming up?
Sure.
And it will be a historical event.
Happy to do
All
that.
3 tribes will be there. Thank you very much.
That good? Is the date, I should know, is the date been set for that tri-council? What is that? July 9th to what? 14th, okay, thank you. All right. Any more questions for Mr. Skinner here? If not, thank you very much.
Okay.
We'll go to our next person, Culture Tourism, Molly Jarvis.
Good afternoon. Thank you for allowing us to bring you an update. We do this quarterly usually. And I submitted a report and it should be there. A couple of highlights from the report is the very first item listed, the prison opening, has a tentative date for March 2012. We are going to go ahead and move that date out to May. And we are building in some time and we'll be scheduling a preview for the council and administration to go through before the museum actually opens to the public. So we will send you notification of a date on that as soon as we have it. We have a new program that's coming up for our cultural tours called the Cherokee Compass. This is taking a little bit of the place of the individual tours that we were having on Saturdays, and this will provide participants with a booklet and coupons to our facilities as well as some businesses that we frequent and support. And we have a new smartphone app for those of you who have iPhones and know about apps coming out. We're hoping in April, and it's really interactive, and people can do kind of a self or guided tour using this app to all of our locations. We also are soliciting sponsorships for the what will be the 7th annual Cherokee Art Market. If you know of any companies you work for, or if you would like to sponsor the art market, or know of anyone that we should talk to about sponsorships, please let me know. One thing that's not in the report that I want to mention, we are having we've done a couple of these, we're having a gravestone preservation workshop in May 11th and 12th, and it will be here in Tahlequah. We haven't got the exact site nailed down yet, but it will be one of the local cemeteries here in Tahlequah, and people can participate that and learn how to preserve and maintain their cemeteries. While I'm here today, I wanted to introduce some management from the Cultural Tourism Department that I have with me for some of the new faces we have. Steve Rush is our Senior Manager of Cultural Tourism, and he handles marketing and operations for the 2 welcome centers we operate, the 3 museums, and the 3 gift shops that we operate. And then Travis Owens is our manager of planning and development for cultural tourism and manages construction projects, preservation, and interpretive design for those locations. Yes, and they are. Yes, yes, ma'am. We're all Cherokee citizens. Yes. And are there any questions for me?
Yes, Councilor Lay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Molly, I don't know if really this is your area. I was given a note a few days ago about how long it takes our artists to get paid from the gift shop. And I'm not sure how that system works, so
Okay.
I'll just pass that on.
So it's artists and specifically with the gift shop. Do you know if it was a commission item?
I don't think so. I think as I understand it, they expect to get paid, but apparently it's 3 to 4 weeks before they get a check.
Okay. Do you have it? Can I talk to you offline?
Unless otherwise indicated.
Oh, we can visit offline maybe about the specific incident.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Keenum?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And you may have said this, Mom, I may have missed it. Is there a cost associated with the gravestones?
Yes, there is. $30.
$30,
Yes.
okay. You'll be getting word out to the different associations?
Associations, yes. The question was, is there a cost for the gravestone workshop? And yes, it's $30.
Per person?
Yes.
And then I was interested in what your initiatives are with the Chickasaw Nation.
Right, we have a bullet point there talking about that. We have done a, how do you call that, like a pro-article in one of the publications. An international publication where we're marketing Oklahoma as a whole and Native American tourism that's available here in the state. And we did partner with the Chickasaws to do that article. So we've talked about doing tours, allowing people to stay in our state a longer period of time and tour Cherokee Nation as well as Chickasaw Nation. So those are primarily the efforts that we're working on right now.
And is it already in publication?
Do you?
It'll be an American Journal, I think it's May. We're also working with just state tourism efforts trying to get people coming to the state.
Okay. Will they be able to get you that in email form?
Of the article? Sure, sure.
Is it, I guess, all the council?
Absolutely.
Everyone wants to see?
Absolutely.
Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Good. Any more questions? Councilor Jordan?
Mom, is this watch being sold now at the gift shop?
We are hoping to have it this summer. We will definitely have it before the holiday.
Is it going to be a woman's watch and a man's watch, or just a man's watch?
It is a man's watch technically. We've
Gonna
kind of
get one for a woman?
well, we're going to see how this one sells, and there was a quantity we had to purchase, and they wouldn't let us split that between men's and women's styles. So we're going to start out with that one and see how they sell, and then I'm hoping to be able to go to a woman's watch after that. Yes.
Now, and who do we send the artists to submit pieces for consignment?
Yes. Do they go to Cheryl? To Linda Taylor at the gift shop here in Tahlequah.
And is there a selection process, or it says artists are welcome to submit pieces for consignment on first and third Thursdays of the month? Is that going to be, we're going to allow everyone, or is it going to go, does the piece have to go through a selection process?
Let me
or what's
actually
the
allow
rules?
Steve to come up and
Okay.
give you a little more detail about that.
Because they have several artists that I think would be interested.
Great, great. And we've been doing this for about, what, a year now? Yeah.
Why don't you step up to the podium and tell us about it, because you may have several of those artists watching today.
Yeah, basically any artist that is welcome to come up to the gift shop on the dates indicated there, and they can meet with Linda. And basically, Linda's been around art for most of her life, so she'll basically assess the art, and then we'll place it in the gallery. Or the gallery or the gift shop, one of our gift shops.
Now, this would be our Cherokee artists,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay. I mean, it didn't say, I mean, it's not saying any artist, it says artists are welcome.
Cherokee artists.
But you meant Cherokee
Yes,
artists.
yes, yes.
Okay. And she'll help them with pricing and
Yep.
maybe enlighten them as to what the market will bear in
Right,
their
right,
area. And are we only doing that at Tahlequah, or will there be at some point that it will be done maybe for,
We can arrange meetings anywhere. Right now, it's in Tahlequah, but if someone needs to meet in Catoosa or that area, we can arrange that as well.
let's see, don't we have a little bit of a gift shop down at Roland?
Yes.
And then You have the gift shop,
The Cherokee Gallery in Catoosa,
okay.
Hard Rock.
and then we sell artwork in the Heritage Center gift shop, and then the Tahlequah gift shop.
So will Linda be doing it for all of those areas or
Yes.
just for Tahlequah?
All of
For
them.
all, okay. Okay, thank you.
Is that good? Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Okay. Drop down to old business. For the sake of time, I don't see our Attorney General here if you want to just,
Well, that's what I was thinking. I don't, Todd was going to give us an update and he's not here. I would ask that we just table this and we'll catch, because, is that clock right?
yes.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, well, then I would make a motion that we table.
Motion second.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
With another committee.
New business, resolution 12040.
That's,
Council?
Diane, you want to speak to this one?
We have an opportunity to apply for a grant. We don't know whether or not we will get the grant. It's a competitive grant. And so basically, we're just asking permission to go forth with a resolution. And it's for juvenile, it's a juvenile justice, but it's a certain age group. It's for kids.
No, this is the one that's tabled.
Oh,
Department of Labor.
I'm sorry. I am so confused.
Okay.
I didn't know what you did. Oh, this is the Innovation Grant Fund. Okay, I'm gonna yield to Lacey.
Hello. I believe that Diane approached some of you about this. It was kind of a quick fuse on this grant proposal. It had not gone through our internal process of grants evaluation, and she put it on here as a placeholder in case we decided to go forward with it. And what this is it's an innovation fund grant. And it helps that I attended a 2-day workshop on this just last week and have a much better understanding of what these grants are. They're research and development grants, and they have quite a bit of compliance issues that go with them. We were approached by an outside nonprofit, one that we had not done business with before, and basically this is on their terms. And I really want to do one of these Innovation Fund grants, I do. But I'd really like to see one on our terms where we get the best benefit of it rather than a third party that approaches us just needing an Indian tribe to provide a vehicle.
Councilors, normally we don't go through this without going through the appropriate process, but if there's a time frame that we're looking at here, we'll yield to the councilors here.
So this is the one you want us to pull, Diane?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in agreement to pull it.
Discussion?
If there's
Diane's
no-
in agreement to pull it, I'm wanting to table it. She talked to us beforehand about it.
Table or withdraw?
Yes.
Order, point of information. Okay, if the sponsor wants it withdrawn and there's no objection, should it just be withdrawn? Because it sounds like there's nothing prepared even if we table it for a month or two.
Table or withdrawn?
So if it says it withdrawn?
It's withdrawn because it has to be submitted
Council
every week.
Okay, so no action, we're good.
The deadline is March 22nd, so
Councilwoman Fishing Hawk's asking to withdraw it as sponsor. So,
Yes.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. Resolution 12041. Councilor Watts?
Before I make a motion to approve, I just want to thank the staff who actually worked with Steve Jobs as well, and also Durbin Feeling, who had translated it into Cherokee. So with the resolution, we would have the resolution in both English and Cherokee using the tools that Steve Jobs helped develop through Apple. And I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion, second. Discussion?
I'd like to be added as a sponsor, please.
Okay.
As well, I would as well.
Everybody want to be added? Yes. Okay. He was a tribal member, right?
Not Steve Jobs.
Got that? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Everybody is
Sponsors. Next meeting date?
Motion to adjourn.
Wait, you three in your grant, we wanted to include.
Okay, who's got that last resolution for the grant? Is that you, Councilor Fishenhoff?
I would like to move for the Department of Labor, what is it, a resolution authorizing development and submission of a grant application to the Department of Labor for serving a young adult ex-offender through training and service learning grant. I'd like to move for its approval.
I'll second. Motion second.
And I want it moved to council tonight, maybe.
Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion to adjourn? Motion second.
Second.
So we have two that's raising the full council sign.
Thank you. Good job.
Oh, okay.